it's right to make those comparisons. It's completely different. And the Prime Minister said yesterday, I think almost in the same breath, talked about the diverse country that we are and that being part of our strength.
I'm not saying it is Enoch Powell. I'm saying, did he know? Yeah. Did his speechwriters know? Did you know that he was echoing Enoch Powell? I don't know. I didn't. And are you uncomfortable with it?
You know, everybody always gets caught up in focusing on different phrases and so on, but we do have to be talking about the policies. And if you
Starmer's worst nightmare, the northern threat that could end his leadership. Right then, before we dive into this absolute political car crash, smash that subscribe button because trust me, you'll want to be here for every twist in this Westminster soap opera. The drama we're witnessing unfold is nothing short of extraordinary, and frankly, it's only getting started. Keir Starmer is living his worst nightmare, and it's happening in broad daylight for all of us to witness. The Prime Minister who once stood so confidently at the dispatch box is now facing a direct threat to his very survival, not from Conservatives across the aisle, but from within his own ranks. And this threat? It might just finish him off entirely. Picture this. One catastrophe after another cascading down upon Starmer like a relentless avalanche. The economy is in free fall. Labour grandees are abandoning ship faster than rats fleeing the Titanic. And the British public has reached a rather damning conclusion that their Prime Minister couldn't successfully manage a chip shop, let alone govern an entire nation. It's political carnage of the highest order. Now, here's the cool irony of our democratic system. The next general election remains years away, leaving voters essentially powerless to remedy this mess through the ballot box. But whilst the public watches on in mounting frustration, Starmer faces a far more immediate and arguably more dangerous threat from his own parliamentary party. They've simply had enough, and their patience has well and truly expired. The knives are being sharpened in Westminster's corridors, and there are plenty of Labour MPs queuing up to wield them. But here's where this story takes a fascinating tone, because they now have someone to rally behind, someone who represents everything Starmer apparently isn't. Step forward Andy Burnham, the Labour mayor of Greater Manchester, and quite possibly the most professionally northern politician in British politics today. If you're wondering what gives me the right to make such a bold statement, do hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we dissect these political machinations with the precision they deserve here at UK Connors. Burnham possesses what can only be described as a superpower in Labour Party politics, and that superpower is being relentlessly, unapologetically, almost aggressively northern. He's from the north. He never lets you forget he's from the north, and he wears his northern identity like a badge of honor that is constantly polishing for everyone to admire. In fact, he's elevated the art of being a professional northerner to levels previously thought impossible in British politics. Now, before the comment section explodes, let me be crystal clear. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being from the north. Some of my dearest friends hail from those parts, as do some of my most formidable adversaries. But in the peculiar ecosystem of Labour Party internal politics, where you were born and raised carries weight that would make a Victorian class system blush with embarrassment. This obsession with geographical authenticity sits alongside Labour's fixation with race and class as markers of political legitimacy. It's the holy trinity of left-wing credibility, and Burnham has mastered the art of weaponizing his postcode like nobody else in contemporary British politics. Every speech, every interview, every public appearance becomes an opportunity for Burnham to remind audiences of his northern credentials. He claims that living on the Wigan side of Manchester provides him with insights into the nation's condition that no southerner could possibly comprehend. It's a masterclass in political positioning, even if it occasionally makes fellow Labour members roll their eyes so hard they risk permanent injury. And is not alone in this strategy. Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson is mining her working-class Northeast origins for all they are worth, conveniently glossing over the minor detail that she departed for Oxford University the moment she turned 18 and never looked back. It's selective storytelling of the highest caliber. Speaking of selective storytelling, make sure you're subscribed because we're about to expose how this authenticity game really works in modern Labour politics. Since Jeremy Corbyn comprehensively defeated him in the 2015 leadership contest, Burnham has been circling like a political vulture, waiting for another opportunity to swoop in and claim the crown. With Starmer's support hemorrhaging faster than a punctured balloon, Burnham senses a political wind shifting decidedly in his favour. His biggest obstacle remains the inconvenient fact that he's not actually an MP, but is working frantically to maintain relevance by throwing his considerable weight behind Lucy Powell in the deputy leadership contest triggered by Angela Rayner's departure. It's political chess of the most calculated variety. Of course, we must acknowledge that Angela Rayner executed this authenticity narrative better than most. Her genuine journey from care worker to the upper echelons of the Labour Party deserves genuine respect and admiration. But Rayner represents the exception rather than the rule in modern Labour politics. The uncomfortable truth is that the majority of Labour's high achievers are middle-class performers, desperately mining any scrap of street credibility they might possess and presenting it as evidence of their working-class credentials. It's political theatre masquerading as authentic representation. Even Starmer himself fell into this trap, relentlessly promoting his credentials as the son of a toolmaker. It became his political calling card, his claim to ordinary origins. But here's Starmer's fatal flaw in this particular game. He was born in Southwark, which places him firmly in Southern territory, leaving him utterly defenseless against Burnham's northern offensive. In the bizarre world of Labour identity politics, geography trumped profession every single time. This represents Starmer's absolute worst nightmare scenario. And if you're enjoying this deep dive into Westminster's power games, remember to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of political observers. But there's another dimension to Burnham's threat that makes Starmer's blood run cold. Occasionally, just occasionally, Burnham demonstrates something that our current Prime Minister seems incapable of: actual human behavior. He shows genuine emotion, displays real passion, and connects with people in ways that feel authentic rather than focus grouped to death. For a leader as wooden as Starmer, this represents a nightmare scenario of epic proportions. The bitter irony in all this posturing and positioning is that despite their constant claims to represent ordinary working people, Labour has spent years chasing Trend 8DY middle-class causes whilst actual working-class communities have felt increasingly abandoned and ignored. They prioritise metropolitan concerns over the bread-and-butter issues that matter to the people they claim to champion. Burnham's nostalgic northern routine won't single-handedly win back these abandoned communities. His professional northerner act, whilst effective within Labour's internal ecosystem, won't automatically translate into electoral success with actual working-class voters who've long since seen through such transparent political performances. The harsh reality is that nobody currently in Labour's ranks will successfully reconnect with working-class Britain until they abandon this elaborate game of authenticity performance and actually engage with real working-class people about their genuine concerns and priorities. But here's where this story becomes even more compelling. Starmer's vulnerability isn't just about his southern origins or his inability to project authentic human emotion. It's about the accumulation of failures, the mounting evidence that is simply not up to the job of leading either his party or the country. Every economic indicator points in the wrong direction. Every policy announcement seems to backfire spectacularly, and every attempt at leadership appears to expose further inadequacies. The man who was supposed to bring competence and stability to Labour politics is instead presiding over chaos and decline. Make sure you're subscribed because this political drama is far from over, and the next chapter is promised to be even more explosive than what we've witnessed so far. Meanwhile, Burnham circles like a patient predator, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He's positioning himself not just as the anti-Starmer, but as the authentic voice that Labour has been desperately seeking. Whether his northern authenticity routine will translate into actual political success remains an open question, but his timing couldn't be more perfect. The Labour Party finds itself at a crossroads, torn between the metropolitan liberalism that Starmer represents and the supposedly authentic working-class voice that Burnham claims to embody. It's a battle for the soul of the party, fought with postcodes and accents as weapons. But beneath all this political theatre lies a more fundamental question about what Labour actually stands for in modern Britain. Are they the party of middle-class professionals playing dress-up as working-class heroes, or can they rediscover genuine connection with the communities they traditionally claim to represent? The answer to that question will determine not just Starmer's fate, but the future direction of British politics itself. And as this drama continues to unfold, one thing remains certain. Andy Burnham's Northern Offensive represents the most serious internal threat to Starmer's leadership yet. So there you have it, the political earthquake that's currently shaking Westminster to its very foundations. Starmer's nightmare is becoming reality, Burnham is positioning for power, and Labour's identity crisis is playing out in spectacular fashion for all to see. If you've enjoyed this analysis of Britain's political chaos, don't forget to subscribe to UK Connors for more insider insights into the Westminster power games that shape our nation. Hit that notification bell, because trust me, this story is far from over, and you won't want to miss what happens next.